Hello and welcome to Podcast2000 with your hosts
Small Pups
and Ed and Shizzle. Welcome. So this podcast, let's just explain to them what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Just so you guys will know, it's not a scene/emo podcast, but we do touch on those subjects often. This is more of a Y2K podcast. We're going to talk about mid 2000s, early 2000s pop culture, lots of Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan stuff, but a lot of emo and scene moments in pop culture as well, and just other subjects that we feel like we relate to a lot and the audience would love to hear about, including some tea.
Yeah, always the tea. I mean, honestly, you cannot talk about the 2000s without talking about the tea that happened, because that entire decade was just so much drama, so much stuff in the media. It was all over the place.
The entire decade was one big mug of tea. Not a mug. What are those things called? Oh, a teapot.
It was a tea kettle.
Oh, is that what they're called? Which one's the bigger one?
I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah,
I just know it was a clusterfuck, basically.
It was, yeah, the 2000s was one big tea clusterfuck. I like that. Okay. So, I mean, what are your experiences in the 2000s? Like, name a few prominent moments in your life back then. And it doesn't have to involve you particularly. It could just be things you remember from the 2000s.
Yeah,
Like, what's your favorite moment?
There's so many things. Like, honestly, I was just talking about it today. I was listening to Britney Spears' Toxic, heading to my parents' house for Easter. Today was Easter. And I was listening to that song and I was like, this is the perfect song to really just like capitalize on what the 2000s really was, because it's fun and catchy, but toxic. Like, that's literally the 2000s. It was such a fun time, but hella
and the
toxic.
fact that sex sells. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
it's the fact that sex sold more than it does now, and it does sell today too, but like it's not the same.
Not nearly as much. Things were so sexualized back then, and I'm wondering like why I'm 10 years old, like wanting to walk around with my thong hanging out or something. Like a 10-year-old now wearing a thong. Like,
oh my god, I remember middle school. In middle school, all the girls had G-strings, and all the guys were like, "Look at her G-string. It's pink. That means she's a slut." Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally how it was.
Exactly. Even like when people had like the silly bands and stuff, and like, oh, the different colors meant different things and stuff like that you did sexually. It's like, why was that a thing?
Oh, wait. Did you guys, and this isn't sexual, but did you guys ever, I don't know if Arizona and LA is the same, and Small Pups is in Arizona. I'm in LA, even though we do congregate often, even though it's only been once, but it's going to be often.
It's going to be often.
It's going to be often. I'm going to Arizona next. But did you guys, like in the 2000s, did you guys take that little plastic thing from the bottle caps and turn it into bracelets? Or was
like
that
are you talking about like from like a Monster can or something?
No. Okay.
So like literally those kinds?
The soda caps had like a plastic thing. I wonder if they still do. Oh my God, I haven't thought of this. They had like a plastic thing in there, and like you'd have to like rip a little hole to like kind of rip the whole center out, and then the plastic thing was like stretchable, but you'd have to slowly stretch it. And then if you slowly stretched it enough and made it a bracelet, someone would come up to you if they liked you, and if they ripped it off you, you'd have to kiss them. No one ever went through with it. No one ever went through with those, you know.
Yeah, it was just scandalous.
But it was just, it was tea. It was 2000s was full of tea, and that was part of it. I'm so surprised.
No.
I thought that was just a universal thing. I'm sure there'll be kids that aren't from LA that are gonna be like, I remember that. So maybe it was just like splotches here and there throughout the map of people doing that.
Yeah, there's certain things that like carry over, like how everyone used to play like that MASH game.
Oh my God. I used to love that.
Yeah.
That game used to be a magic trick to me. It was like magic. It was just like, whoa, this is like, it's telling
that
my
thing
future
was
on
fortune
paper.
telling. Like, I'm okay. So I consider myself a little bit clairvoyant, and I was always like, oh my God, this is real. Like, this is really happening or whatever. I'm really going to marry my crush and have a Corvette and live in LA and like all this stuff. But yeah, that was some fun times.
My God, MASH. Like, I wonder what other games there were back then that I can't think of right now. Fortune tellers. Literal
the little
ones.
things. Yeah. Those are still a thing. Like, kids actually still make those. I was surprised.
I made one recently for fun, And I was surprised that I remembered how to make it, but I only made it for nostalgic purposes because I was like, I
Yeah.
haven't made this in so long. And like, I wonder if people know what the fuck this is. Oh, okay. I
Like
didn't
the
know
one
kids
piece
still
of
make it.
origami we remembered.
Well, I also know the Pac-Man one. Did you guys ever have that? Or I say you
No.
guys, when I say you guys, I mean Arizona.
Yeah.
Just to like further explain that to the audience. Like I love to just compare cultures from different states or countries.
Well, when
But
we're
yeah.
stayed away, like it's so similar in culture, but there's obviously differences and stuff
Yeah.
too. Because I mean,
Yeah.
you guys actually have lives in the summer and we don't. So
Because you guys can't leave the house. It's too hot.
no, or you
No.
just go from like we would all go to like indoor malls, obviously. So you'd go to the mall a lot or you go to the movies a lot. I think that's most teenagers, but
I
still,
think
it's
that's
like that's all you
why
could do.
Seeing Kids originated in Arizona. From my point of view, I think
Yeah.
that's why, because they all went to the mall all summer. That's all you guys had to do. The teenagers were just, let's go to the mall. Let's go to the movies. Let's go to the, do you have AMC?
Yeah, we have
Go to the
AMC.
AMC and hang out for no reason. It's like stuff like that. And that's where all the Seeing Kids used to, and I'm going to say this word twice in one podcast, but I haven't ever said this word, congregate. That's where Seeing Kids congregate. Congregate.
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
but yeah, I mean, that's what I feel the reason of Seeing Kids originating in Arizona is. I worded that sentence really weirdly. But
Yeah, we would call it Scene Fridays. So like Scene Kid Fridays, like you go to the mall and like there are a few malls specifically. So out here it was either Arrowhead Mall, which was like in Glendale, Arizona, and then the other one is Chandler Fashion Square Mall. And those were like the two hangout spots. So you either had like basically it was like the north end of the valley or like the south end of the valley. And the really cool kids, like top tier, like John Hawk, Corey Patakos and them, they went to Arrowhead Mall, which is where I
oh my
was.
god, I always forget that John Hawk lived in Arizona. That's so crazy. I always forget that.
Yeah, like he was definitely
He was
here.
at Topanga Mall. Okay, we had in the valley, we have Topanga Mall and the Northridge Mall. We have other malls too. We have the Woodman Fashion Square Mall, which by the way, I see it in like every single like TikToker or YouTubers like videos. Whenever they go to a mall, it's the mall on Woodman or Topanga Mall. It's so weird. It's like weird to see it in the background, even though I'm like at this point used to seeing that kind of stuff because like we live in the same city basically, but it's still really weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, was I there that day? Type feeling always.
It's really weird. Yeah.
And John Hawk was a Topanga Mall kid, and that is kind of like a humble thing to say about him, because, and I'm not trying to say anything good about him, guys. Like, don't attack me. We're not
rapist apologizers.
I'm not a rape
here.
apologist. I knew the guy, and I'm just stating facts. He used to be really humble. He really was, for the type of person that he was, where he knew that he had internet fans, and like the fact that all that was going down, he still remained kind of calm. But that seems like bullshit if you just go back on YouTube or Sitcam and see like all his little meltdowns or his videos of him like being weird and feeling himself. But it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like looking through Instagram and being like, oh, their lives are so cool and fun, but really in reality it's like the same as everyone else. You know what I mean? He was humble. Overall, he was a humble guy. Skip that chapter. He didn't do great things. We all know that. So just brush that off.
Yeah. Oh, and so like just backtracking a little because we like get on tangents a lot. So like just talking about like our experiences in the 2000s, like for the followers or whatever. Obviously, if you can't tell, we both have like a heavy background in like the scene and emo culture back then. So we're going to talk about everything in the 2000s, but a lot of times it is going to come back to like the scene and emo stuff because that's like what we really were entrenched in.
Yes, that's the focal point, even though I said it's not going to be the main subject, but it's still the focal point. It's home base. Whenever we talk about things that aren't scene themed, we'll still end up relating to the scene theme of it all. We'll still go back to, and then we'll still open up a conversation that has to do with that. So just don't assume that this podcast isn't anything related to scene culture. Yeah. I messed up in the beginning saying that. I just want you guys to know that it's also more.
I mean, it's going to be more of like, okay, we were Scene Kids, so we're going to probably be like, oh yeah, like this is my perspective of this, like as a scene kid during that time. Because like I fucking loved Paris Hilton back then, right? But I was also a scene kid. So I wasn't in high school dressing, well, okay, I take this back. I was gonna say I didn't dress in Hollister, but I did because I was a fucking scene kid who wore
But that's a scene
Hollister.
kid. Yeah,
But
that's a
you know
scene
what I
kid
mean?
thing.
I didn't have like blonde hair and had
You
like the
weren't a
whole
Barbie
prep.
girl.
Yeah, I wasn't like a
Yeah.
Barbie girl, like aesthetic, obsessed with Paris Hilton. I was a scene kid who was like, I want to be glam like Paris Hilton. Love her. I love pop music, love Britney. But I was also a scene kid listening to death metal. So it was like
Well,
different perception.
Paris Hilton, it's weird because, like, okay, to the audience, Amore Hilton is my sister. So if you know who she is, or if you don't know who she was a scene queen back in the day. These days, she's just living her own life, doing her own thing, whatever. Back then, just so you'll know, before she was a scene girl or any of that, her and I called ourselves Eden Hilton and Amore Hilton, and it was based off Paris Hilton. We wanted to be what scene kids aren't, basically. We wanted to be the Barbie girls because I was a Barbie girl too. We just wanted to be like, and we're not rich, by the way. We want to be like, we're rich and bougie and Hiltons and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like a fun persona to put on at the time. We even have videos of us acting like that and talking like that on purpose. Like, what? On purpose. Like, it was all obviously just for attention. And it's weird that you were saying that, like, you definitely weren't that style because you were seen, because Amore like transitioned from that style into a scene girl. And I feel like that's kind of what made her uniqueness shine, because she was still acted like a Valley girl. That's like, if you didn't see her face, you would think it's like a dumb blonde Barbie girl or whatever. But then she was like some scene girl with big pink hair and piercings.
Well, everyone had like their own little like brand back then, because like Amore Hilton was definitely not the same as like an Audrey Kitching, and they're not the same as Melissa Marie, like everyone had like their own little thing. It wasn't like not to like talk bad or anything, but like the Instagram influencers today, like sometimes you really can't tell a lot of them apart. Like some of their brands are literally just, I'm an Instagram model, but there's like nothing that really defines them.
Everyone's the same. I see that red bikini or the black, the T bikini. I don't know what they're called, but like it's all the same. Like all those Instagram models and the guys, it's always
the lounge underwear.
It's the guys always like in front of a sunset it's like an orangey purple sunset in Miami with their shirt off and like the muscles, and they're like, it's like, can you guys stop? You all look like a Bradley. Okay, relax. You too, Melissa, not Melissa Marie, but Melissa, the Instagram model. Relax. Actually, don't relax. Do your thing. Do your thing. But try to be a little more unique. If you're an Instagram model watching this, my advice to you, not that I should be giving advice about blowing up or being big, because these days I'm laying low, but my advice to you is brand yourself. Be different from the rest. Don't just try to be hot. Don't try to market yourself on being hot, because yes, you'll make money, but for a temporary time, because hotness fades. Sorry.
Yeah,
brand yourself.
It really does. Definitely. And the media is, I mean, obviously we know the media is very misogynistic. So it's like the second you hit 30, no one's going to be interested in you anymore unless you have something to bring to the table other than being hot. Like even, oh my God, I can't remember the model's name, but there is this model who was actually like really popular in the 90s. And she's in her 50s now, posted a picture in her bikini, looked amazing. I'll have to like research this later. But she posted a pic in like a bikini or something like that like a year ago. And people were like age shaming her, even though she looks 10 times better than I do right now at 28.
What kind of people were age shaming her? Younger people or older people?
Just women in general. Like no one wants
women
to see
were age shaming her?
Yeah, like no one wants to see that. You're 50. Why are you posting pictures like this? It's like,
I hate that jealousy stuff. It's like, I always feel like I can't wait till you hit that age, like, because the worse you are to people at that age, the worse you'll feel when you hit that age, because you'll remember everything you said. And I know that firsthand because I made fun of 30-year-olds nonstop when I was 19. All day long.
I used to have hella internalized misogyny and stuff. Like I used to really, really hate on other girls because I thought I was so different, and like so much smarter than everyone. And like these girls are dumb or whatever. And now I'm like, oh, I hated myself. Okay.
That sounds a little familiar, but I won't. Okay. We'll switch subjects. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we switch to? Okay, modern day scene queens. I've talked about this with Jess from Emo Chronicles. but I want your take because I'm just
Mhm.
curious. What do you think that modern day scene queens exist? And if they do you think that they understand the past or I don't know. I mean, I guess everyone has their own story. Like Luna Ghostis, she's a modern day scene queen. But I mean, in general, okay, modern day scene kids, do you think they actually exist or just aesthetically, not like personality wise?
No, hard
Okay.
no.
Okay. Hard no. Okay, yeah, I actually agree
Yeah.
with you. Like, no shade on any scene kid today.
It was an
And
era.
this,
You can't recreate it.
yeah. And this isn't like shade to the scene girls that are seen today because maybe some of them were still seen back then or whatever. But the young ones, listen, you guys have the aesthetic and I love it. And you are seen. We'll call you seen because we don't choose the validation here.
Mhm.
Validate yourself. But you aren't the same type of scene that there was back then because it really had its
Yeah.
own
It's
personality.
not gatekeeping. It's just there's no MySpace
Yeah,
anymore.
I hate to sound gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It's not the same thing. It's like trying to say that you're like a 70s rocker. Like you can never truly be that. Just because you dress like vintage doesn't mean that you could truly ever be of that time.
that's a really good comparison. Like being like a 50s man with like those hats or whatever and a
Yeah.
cigar. I'm gonna talk at
Like I'm in the
transatlantic.
rock pack.
We're gonna talk about the transatlantic. Like you could look like
Yeah.
that and be like Jasmine Caldwell or whatever. That girl on
Oh,
TikTok. You know who I'm
Chiswell.
talking about?
Jasmine Chiswell. I love her. Yeah.
Chiswell. I'm so bad with last names. I look at the
Oh, you're
first
good.
couple letters and I'm like, "Oop, I know it." Okay.
Well,
But
as
yeah,
long as
I
it's
watch her all the
Jasmine,
time
yeah.
too. She has that aesthetic, but she's not a fit. She's a modern day pinup girl.
Like,
She's not like modern day
yeah.
scene queen. There we go. She's not an actual pinup. Well, what do we say? Like, am I invalidating her though when I say she's not an actual
No, it's
pinup
not
model?
invalidating. Well, okay. So I think it's a little different because okay, pinup like is a specific thing. So like you could literally call her a pinup model and like you would understand like what she's like because it's almost like cosplaying, right? And
Uh-huh.
like I feel like specifically scene culture very much so relied heavily on like the internet culture of the time too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you can't it a lot of it now is e-girl stuff. And it's
Yeah.
more like it's more in like this general label of like alternative versus like scene queens. And plus like there's nobody out there that has even remotely the same like relevance and popularity as they did back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's
you
very
guys can
true.
say Luna Ghostis, but I'd never fucking heard of her before.
Yeah, I
So
mean, no, honestly, me either. She's a really awesome
yeah.
person. She's really nice. She's really cool, but it's not my realm, I guess. Like scene kids after 2010, I knew nothing about. Even
Yeah.
Becky Mayo, like I've seen her picture before. Definitely that one, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I think I purposely disconnected from scene culture after 2010. I don't know if it was trauma or if it was me
Lots of
feeling like I was
trauma.
too old for it, or maybe both. Yeah, I think all three, whatever the third one is. I just
I
am
mean,
weird.
it's also
But
like another good comparison would be like grunge, right? Like true grunge was in the 90s, and a big part of that culture was like the upcoming music in the time and everything. And
yeah,
like, yeah, could you dress grunge now? Sure. But like being grunge on Instagram is not the same as being grunge pre internet.
I get okay. So that makes full sense. So let me relay this message to the young scene kids. You are a scene kid. We're not invalidating you, but
Yeah,
you're
it's
not a
different.
2006 to 2010. You're not the scene kids that you see and have looked up to maybe and have wanted to copy their style just to be your own
Ooh,
separate person.
I have an idea. We'll just call them TikTok scene.
Perfect.
Because
Okay.
most of them are on TikTok anyway. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration for stuff and I see like other people doing things. And so usually, because Instagram's dying. So we can call
Oh
them
yeah.
TikTok scene
I
kids
barely
because
use Instagram
TikTok is
lately.
so revolutionary right now anyway. Just like
Yeah.
how
I
MySpace was
wonder if
back then.
TikTok scene kids have their own personality that's gonna like shine in 10 years and people are gonna be like, oh my God, remember TikTok scene kids? And remember
I mean, they definitely do. Yeah.
when they blink. I don't know what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
I
think,
mean,
yeah, I think definitely TikTok scene or just even calling it Gen Z scene. It's just a different era and version of scene.
I have a question. Okay, because I know a lot of people, how do I word this? Okay. Do you see certain bands that were liked by scene kids back in the day as scene bands or no? And I asked that because like I've just had many friends call certain people from like, okay, example, Forrest from Hello Goodbye. He's not
Mhm.
seen at all.
No.
Doesn't have the aesthetic, none of that. But I've had friends, seen friends who are like, oh no, friends that knew scene kids, because I'm one of those people that knew scene kids and I wasn't all that scene. If you look at my pictures back then, all my friends were scene and I was just that one guy, But
Yeah.
um just basically people would always be like, oh, that scene band, Hello Goodbye. And I'd be like, they're not scene, they're like indie. Do you look at bands like that? Like, do you look at if it's a band that's listened to by scene people, then it's a scene band?
I that's such like
It's
that's
hard.
a really good question because there's a lot of layers to that. And I don't think there's really like a straight answer because, like, for example, specifically Hello Goodbye, like one of my favorite bands, love them, love Forrest. He talked to me at a show once and I died.
Wait,
But
hold that thought.
what?
He's going to be on this podcast, guys. He already said he
Ah,
will be.
my
So
heart.
just to let you guys know,
I'll play the
stay
clip from
tuned
my
in because
Facebook. Someone recorded him talking to me in the middle of a show and I freaking died. I have it.
you got to show it to him when he's the guest.
Yeah, I'll pull it
Oh
up.
my God, that's going to be so funny.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
love
be
Force.
great.
Okay, yeah. So you guys tune into future episodes because we will have pretty cool guests.
Yeah, we're gonna have a
I'm not
really
going to
good
name any more,
guest.
but that's just one of them. Okay. And yeah, so continue what you're saying. Sorry
Oh, you're
for
good.
stopping you right there.
So for me personally, because I already listened the first time I discovered Hello Goodbye was through like the Real World, and that was like off their EP. Call and Return was my jam. And then they came out with, I'll never get this in the right order, but it's like zombies, aliens, vampires,
It's not that order.
something.
I don't even know the song, but it's not that order. Because I feel like I've heard the title once or twice.
Well,
Like
it's
I.
the album name. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
pull it
There we
up.
go. I already failed right there. I'm just like I've heard those words, but in a different
It's
order before.
zombies, aliens, vampires, dinosaurs. So I almost got
So
it
you
right.
did say it right.
Yeah, I just
I
forgot the last one.
suck. Wow.
So that was like their big album that got big. That's the one that had Here in Your Arms on it.
Yeah.
And for me, because that's when I was like emo and scene, like I loved that band and that was really popular with scene kids, but I wouldn't consider that band scene because it was a little more mainstream. Like a lot of people remember Here in Your Arms.
Yeah.
Whereas
Well, there are a
like,
lot of like scene bands that were partially mainstream.
well, yeah, that too. But like Job for a Cowboy, scene band, absolutely scene band. The
J-Fac.
members were seen, the fans were seen, and that was definitely not mainstream either. And the fact that
Yeah.
it's like death metal and stuff.
You
So
just hit
like,
me with some nostalgia. I haven't heard
yeah.
that band name in so long.
Or
Job for
Drop
Cowboy.
Dead Gorgeous, scene band, Medic Droid, obviously scene band, but
Is he gonna come
mostly
on this podcast?
which one?
Johnny? Johnny
Um,
or whichever one.
Johnny probably won't. He's kind of like anti, I want nothing to do with Medic Droid because they had like a really bad
Oh,
falling out.
okay.
But maybe Hector would. We could always ask.
Okay. Wait, why'd they get in a falling out? If you're allowed
So,
to talk about it.
I mean, I'll just share what I know. And I've heard two different stories. So, from what I've heard on Johnny's end, he like just wasn't getting along with Chris and Hector. He felt like they were like assholes basically. And he was just basically saying that like they're partying a lot and doing shit that he felt was inappropriate or whatever. So he
Okay.
left the band. And then the other side of the coin that I've heard is that he stole a bunch of money from them and so they kicked him out. And there's always two sides to every story and the truth in the middle somewhere. So I try not to get in the middle of it, but that's all I've heard.
Yeah, I get it, but that's a crazy that's
Ooh,
two very different stories.
I just remembered a funny story too. So like I got sent to this like wilderness program thing when I was 14. And it was basically I'm having like that scene split bang thing.
Oh God.
And so I keep having the typical scene like pushover shit.
the split.
Yeah. So I went to this wilderness program thing when I was 14 because my parents were like, "You're getting out of control. We're sending you away." So I did like this,
So
like
you were Paris Hilton.
I went to wilderness and I went to residential treatment center like she did.
Okay.
And
Not to laugh
so
and make a laughing matter out of that, guys, by the way.
no,
Like,
we
I
can
just
laugh at
laughed.
my
Like,
pain, just not
yeah.
anyone else's. So I went to one of those places and it was called Anasazi Foundation in case you guys are interested in trying to avoid that. And if you're younger and you are under 18, if you see that come up on your parents' search history, run away. I'm just joking. Don't run away. But
No.
yeah, so
Well, yeah.
Anasazi went there, met this girl. She was also seen. And so we had like, some things in common. And she was dating Chris Donovan at the time. And
Really?
she was like 15. I think he was like 20 or something. So she was dating him at the time
Typical.
before she went. At least that's what she claims. Who knows? She could have been
Yeah.
lying, but yeah, it was kind of funny though. I just remember that.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy that it was so normal for like underage girls to date 20 guys in their 20s and even sometimes 30s because that was part of scene culture and that's the part that both of us I know aren't proud of. Like
Yeah.
personally, I've never dated someone underage. I don't know if it was the same in the gay scene community, even though it was kind of the same community. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't think gay guys really dated underage boys that were
Well,
seen.
it's
I
not
think
like
those
James
more
Charles. He wasn't around yet.
exactly, and he's not seen. But
Yeah.
love the shade, girl. I agree. It wasn't. There was no James Charleses back then. If you think about it, it was always the younger girls. I mean, not to undermine anyone's experiences if they were a boy that was like kind of groomed or whatever. I'm talking about stories that we actually heard of and that were out in the media or our friends
I
talked
mean, it's
about
still
within the
more
group.
common for heterosexual men to be more predatory towards younger women. That's just
Well,
the statistics.
it's true, but I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm added to a lot of really weird gay men on Facebook, and I say that in the least hateful way.
Yeah.
But I'm gay, guys. Okay, so like I could say this: they're the older gay men like that I'm added to at least because I'm not age shaming at all. I'm gonna be an older gay man one day too. Okay, but they just talk too they're just too sexual
Yeah.
to everybody and they don't care what age you are. I see them leave, like, when it shows that someone left a comment on someone else's picture or whatever, sometimes I see comments on boys that are like 15 with no shirts on and it's like someone that's added to me being like
No
so
shame.
cute, so cute nipple boy. I'm like,
Oh
can you
my
chill?
God.
Like, can you? So
Huge
you're
nipple
right,
boy. I love that.
It's true, but like what you were saying, it's maybe I think maybe the gay ones are a little more low key, but it does happen more often nowadays, at least, that I notice or pay attention to that kind of stuff than it did back then. Back then, it just seemed like it was always the straight guys that were like going after the underage girls.
It was also, I mean, just even back 2000s topic, when it came to being gay or even being remotely part of the LGBTQ community, it was all in the DL. Like there were very few people that were, everybody was bi. Everyone was like, oh, well, I'm bi because I still have to be a little bit straight until you could actually come out or you really were bi or maybe
I think some people still do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do because it's probably just, I mean, it's awkward. Like, I'm bi, I've been bi for a very long time. And anytime it kind of comes up with my parents, it's almost like because my brother is gay. And anytime it kind of comes up in conversation, it's almost kind of like, oh, but you've only ever really been with guys, so you're straight. You just say you're bi.
In them. Yeah, it's the denial in them. But I mean, bi people exist 100%.
Yeah.
I see it more with girls than with guys, but I think that's because guys that are bi, that are actually bi, will say they're straight because it's easier, right? If you like both, you could just go with the easier one to, like, if I had the option, not the option because you can't choose who you fall in love with, but if I could choose who I get married to, I would rather it be an easier marriage. I'm not gonna lie, and that sounds bad, but I'm just saying that because I don't want to go through all that. Yeah, I don't want like the side eye from my family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But whatever, too late, too bad. But I mean, you were talking about how it wasn't as easy to be in the LGBTQ plus community back then, which wasn't even a thing. It was just the LGBT community.
It wasn't even that either because
it was
people
LGBT.
were still hella like even
no, but it wasn't big. It wasn't popular, but they called it that.
Yeah, like, well, at least, okay. So in my school, we actually had ours was called GSA. It was called the Gay Straight Alliance because
Oh,
they
we
weren't
had
really
that
even
too.
yeah, they weren't even recognizing trans really back then because there was still
Yeah.
a lot of people in, both the gay and lesbian communities that like were anti-trans and like were very
Yeah.
transphobic because they're like, if you're a girl wanting to be a guy, like, how could you betray us? Because some lesbians are a little bit like, on the
Yeah.
far end of the spectrum of like a little too man hating. But yeah,
Right.
it was like that at my school. I was in the Gay Straight Alliance Club.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that I should. I like. Okay. I told all my friends I was bi. I remember that feeling of coming out and being like,
Mhm.
part of me is free. I wasn't out to my school, but to my friends. But all my friends did the most awesome thing on MySpace. Everyone just put bicycle in the end of their name, and it was like kind of an ode to. And then two of my other friends came out as bi. One of them is straight today, so I'm not even going to name these people. And so they came out too. And so suddenly everyone started putting bicycle in the end of their MySpace names, even people that didn't even know what the fuck that meant. But it really, what it meant was gay straight alliance, basically. Like I'm either an ally,
I
like if
didn't
you
know
had it,
that.
you're
That's
either an
cool.
ally or you're bi. And we just called it the bicycle squad. And then we
I
changed it
like
to like
to ride
ETKXC
my
to make it sound
bicycle.
more, but it was called bicycle. Wait, did you not have trans people in not your high school? Because I didn't either. I mean, I think there was one, but in the scene community, like in your scene friend group, that was more like it was. I think there were more trans people back then. And I keep almost saying the T slur, guys, and I'm not transphobic at all. But the reason that I keep almost saying the T slur is because I had a lot of friends that were trans back then that actually called themselves that, even put it in their MySpace names and
Is the
stuff like
T
that.
slur ending in Y?
Yeah,
Okay.
it rhymes with Manny.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you
So
were
I
saying.
almost said it just now, and I'm not like I will not deny it. I'll always point out myself, even if I didn't make a mistake yet. I'll say, "Oops, I almost said it." But I'm only
Yeah.
saying that because back then it really wasn't like it wasn't some. I at least even the trans people I knew would use it, and we'd use it with each other, and like, "Oh, did you see that Manny? Like, did you see that Teesler? Like, oh my God, is that girl a Teesler?" Or like blah blah blah. It was just normal conversations within the friend group. And now that
Yeah.
you look back at it, it's like, oh my God, these slurs were used in such a like a
Well, it wasn't
casual
considered
way.
a slur back then. It was
That's what
just
I was
like,
saying.
I mean, like even the word like transvestite that was
Yeah.
in the dictionary, like
That is
people
that a
that was
slur?
like, well, it's kind of offensive now because transvestite like is like calling someone a cross dresser. It's not necessarily, it's not
Oh,
as
so it's just
bad
me.
as T slur. It's just like, it's not politically correct anymore.
Like queer. I always felt I know queer is politically correct, but I always felt like it's such a slur. Like I'm
Well,
always like,
no,
no.
queer was bad, and now people kind of took it back. But you can't, if you
Yeah.
call someone a queer, like that's not okay.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's so
it's
confusing. Like, I don't know, the LGBT stuff back then, LGBTQ stuff back then
hmm
was a little simpler, but it must have been so much harder for the people that were holding things in or their gender identity and all that because we
yeah.
just didn't know about that stuff. And that's why the younger generation, when they look up at us, they say, like, oh, well, you guys were racist and you guys were homophobic and transphobic and blah, blah, blah.
No.
No, no. Coontails is an actual thing. Okay, sorry guys, that means raccoon tails. I'm backtracking right here. I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about that one TikTok post or the two TikTok posts, ones that you posted and the one that Jess Emo Chronicles posted,
Yeah.
talking about the hairstyle that Kiki Cannibal had with the raccoon stripes.
Coontails. Yeah.
They were called coontails. These
Coontails and
days,
pinstripes.
it's like, listen, I said that I made this exact example and people agreed. And if you disagree, just be calm about it in the comments. But Dick Van Dyke, I'm never going to get bleeped out for saying that on live TV.
I
But I
mean, it's
will
literally
get,
his name, though.
yeah, but I mean, Coontails is literally the name of Raccoon
Oh
Tail. No one's
no,
going to.
I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that's literally his
No,
legal
I know, I
name.
know, I know. So his name's Dick Van Dyke. And then people could be like, oh, that last word.
Yeah.
Slur, you can't say that even though you're not meaning what we're thinking you're meaning. Coontails means raccoon tails. Yes, people could change it to raccoon tails, but will the entire community that was there follow along or know that that's what's happening? No. Could we try? Maybe. Do we want to? No. Why?
I mean, it's all in
Because
the
it shouldn't be offensive.
context.
Like and I'm not going to say what should be and what shouldn't be offensive to people of color or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But take a close listen to what you're getting offended by and tackle the actual issues, not coontails. Like
Exactly.
I would just
You know
that's
what
it.
the sickening part of it is though, is that like, okay, so when people were coming after me for saying the word, first off, context, right? I'm talking about a hairstyle. I'm not being racist.
It
And
bothered me so
second,
much saying that. I'm like, calm down. Like,
all of the people, every single one that commented on it
white,
were white teenagers.
knew it.
And it's not to say that like they're not allowed to, be allies and call things
Yeah.
out when they see it if they think it's wrong. But like, are you
Don't
doing
speak for
some
them.
performative activism bullshit right now? Are you just trying to police somebody and like you're basically just trying to
Virtue
bully people on the
signaling.
internet, virtue signaling, and you're just trying to disguise it as like, oh, look at me and my self-righteous bullshit. Like, no,
You know
you
where
know
that
what the
roots from?
context was, and you can easily say, hey, maybe like you shouldn't use that word or something rather than like, I can't believe you're being racist right now. Like, come on.
You know where that roots from, right?
White guilt.
This is why we're so connected. I was gonna say white guilt. And that's a term that both the left and the right use, white guilt, because it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know, white guilt is someone who is white and feels so guilty about their internalized racism that they probably haven't even touched on, that they feel like they need to force themselves to be an ally, but they're not even looking at the details of what they're policing or any of that. They're just whatever they can call racist, they'll call racist as long as no one's looking at them as racist. It makes them look like the activists. It makes them look like the anti-racists
Mm-hmm.
because deep down they are guilty for the past racism that they've used or the current racist thoughts that they have. They feel like POC are inferior, and so they feel like they're the ones that are like, you get what I'm saying. And I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
people are getting offended right now as I'm saying this. I look white, so I get that it looks like a white man is speaking for people of color or
Well,
whatever, but
no, you're white speaking for other white people
yeah.
because you're talking about
And I
white
mean,
guilt.
I'm
Yeah.
Middle Eastern and my first language isn't even English and I'm 0% European, but I'm white passing and I'll admit that. So I know
Yeah.
I have white privilege and I know like blah, blah, blah. Like I know people will look at me and like, oh, let's hire this guy versus this person because he looks white or whatever. And they won't assume that I'm not. So I get that. But I don't know where I was going with that because this started somewhere else.
Yeah.
This started basically, I'm not trying to undermine anyone's experiences as a person of color or as a white person, but white guilt is very obvious when it's out there. It's so obvious when people are being guilty for their racism.
I don't know why I just got really white. I don't know how to correct that. But I was also going to add from my experience too. I don't know why.
You're contrasted like a scene girl right now.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
Okay.
fine.
It's the aesthetic, whatever. I don't know what just happened with the lighting. Maybe I need to scoop. Yeah. Okay. I'll scoop that. So,
It's trying to it was trying to focus on your background.
okay.
So it was making everything brighter.
So for me, also part of that too is it's a lot. Okay. So coming from a scene kid background and coming from someone who understands cyberbullying a lot, I feel like instead of, the mobs kind of going after somebody because they're, a slut or they're fat or, whatever they're doing on the internet that nobody liked. I mean, now they hide behind the whole like virtue signaling stuff. And it's like, I'm unhappy with myself. So I'm going to attack this other person online, but I'm going to make it valid.
I don't want to look like a bully.
And I'm not a bully because I'm calling them out for something
For
that they did
racism
wrong.
that isn't there. Yeah.
I'm going to like drag them into like I'm trying to think of the word.
No,
they're trying to push them into the ground and be like, you don't exist anymore because I'm not happy about myself.
And let me just follow up with that. When they do that, they know that there's going to be 1, 2, or 3 other people like backing them up that feel the exact same way that they do. So they already automatically know that ratio. You know what I mean? Like, shut your ratio ass up. Okay.
My big thing is that I'm a fucking Aries. I'm a fire sign. I'm very opinionated and I like to have my own thoughts and my own perspective on things. And like, even if it's something I fully agree with, I'm always going to see like, well, what's the other side to this? Because I just have that argumentative mind. And I'm like, well, I understand like everyone's kind of jumping on this bandwagon, but like, what's the other side of this? And then maybe I do join the bandwagon, like with the whole, just to talk briefly about the recent thing with James Charles. Back up.
Let it be contrasted. You're fine.
Whatever.
I think you look good.
So I'm not going to go into huge detail on it because I don't want to give him any more attention. But like at first I was like, well, I mean, one person came out and they supposedly lied about their age and people were like, he committed a crime and stuff. And I'm like, well, is that really a crime if you didn't know? But then 12 people have come forward and not a single one of them was over 18. So you have to wonder.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
it's a pattern.
But to play devil's advocate, and I'm not on James' side at all. I know that he's probably doing that allegedly, blah, 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 allegedly. But to play devil's advocate, when a celebrity is under attack for something, like I used to see these things happen to, like, okay, when my ex Ian died, over 10 years ago, people would say that it was a lie, it was made up, and that he was actually, I saw him at a fish market, and all these people on Sticky Drama started coming out saying they saw Ian and that his death was fake and you can't find it. And there was even it wasn't a Sticky Drama post, it was a My Drama post, where that one tab where like people could post their own stuff on Sticky Drama. Because even Chris Sticky Drama himself knew that Ian was dead. He would never think otherwise because he was there, like he was in, I hate to say he was in the friend circle, but he was, like, because we lived there, like, yeah, we lived with him, or you know what I mean. So
yeah,
it was just, so to play devil's advocate, you see how I always go on tangents. A lot of people tangent. I know, I love it though, I love it. A lot of people like will come out and say one thing against someone who is popular if they know that they can get the momentum going, and that's like a modern day troll, but also back then trolly as well. But I'm not undermining any of the experiences of James Charles victims or alleged victims, because I didn't even look into that. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But is it actually what I believe is happening? No, I really do think he has been messaging underage boys. He's not good at keeping his radar low and being a good person and understanding how to look these people up and look into them. And maybe he does know that they're underage, but he sees that it doesn't say their age anywhere, so he can play it off. And he's
that's totally what he's doing. His
hormones are raging and he's just 1000%. So horny. Like that's, yeah.
And honestly, it's not even just like, oh, well, I was talking to like one or two people that I liked and I was interested in. Like the fact that there's 12 people who have come forward, he's super pushy in all of his messages. I mean, it literally reminds me of every single scene guy that groomed me back in the day.
Is that why you said James Charles when I brought that up?
Yes, it's literally the same, dude. I went through the same thing with these.
I haven't seen his messages. What are they like?
They're hella pushy and aggressive. Like, okay, it doesn't matter whether this person is underage or not. Like the way he was talking to them was like, I need to use you to come right now. And then
Did he say that? Did he say that?
No, but he was doing the whole pushy, like send me nudes, like every typical disgusting predatory male.
Does he really like armpit hair? Like Ethan said on H3. I see him talk about that. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
does he actually say that?
He's like, send me a picture of your body hair. I want to see your body hair and stuff.
Stop. They're 15. They don't have body hair. What, you want to see them go through puberty?
He wants to see like, those like first few armpit hairs you get. There's just like a couple like little long black
Stop, this is making me feel
He wants to see the very first armpit hairs they get.
Gross. Not kink shaming, but that's not a kink.
We kink shame here. We kink shame here if it has to do with underage boys in their
that's what I'm trying to say. Not kink shaming about the body hair thing, but if it's let me see them sprouts. Please let me see them sprouts, young
let
boy.
me see your bean sprouts.
I'm gonna call him that from now on.
I love that.
Bean sprout boy.
He's got a bean sprout kink.
That should be illegal. Bean sprout kink. Things that should be illegal 101. Part 76 for dummies. That was such a millennial statement. For dummies.
Oh my God, for dummies. Oh, you know what's really funny? Okay, God,
the fact that you're even more contrasted ever since you moved to the angle.
No,
you're not gonna fix that until your background is as light. It looked really good when your background was dark and you were like your normal colors, but I think it's really trying to capture your background instead, so it keeps brightening the image up. That's how cameras work. So I feel like if you want it to stop, just make sure the background's brighter, I guess. I don't know.
I could turn on the light.
That's your choice.
All right. Well, we can like cut this out or something.
We don't need to cut anything out.
All right. Well, I'll go turn on the light and see if that helps.
Okay. Well, you could cut out the part that you're walking to the light. I mean, I guess they don't want to wait for that part. Oh. Can you tell I'm having a manic episode? Go ahead, I need to relax.
Are you manic or do I just fuel?
I think you just make me happy. You're my real friend.
We just vibe.
Wait, why did I just turn my do not disturb off? See, I'm weird. I have weird twitches.
Dude,
Can Tourette's hit you late?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe you're doing Parkinson's. Early stage Parkinson's.
Is that what is that? Isn't that like amnesia? I mean,
no, Parkinson's is like Michael J. Fox. Like you shake.
Oh.
You literally have your nerves like start going like that.
I thought it's a brain thing. I knew Michael J. Fox. It is in your
brain because it's connected to your nervous system.
But I thought you start acting different, like forget stuff or whatever. But
no, that's Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I always confuse that.
Yeah. No, Parkinson's, like you literally lose function of your body and like you'll literally just like constantly twitch and shake. It's like really fucked up.
That's the next excuse James Charles is going to use when he actually gets physical.
Oh my God. It was just Parkinson's.
I have Parkinson's.
Oh my God. Oh, want to hear a fucked up joke?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite jokes.
Okay.
And it's, why can't Michael J. Fox draw a perfect circle?
Wait,
because it's humanly impossible, you fucking asshole.
I was literally going to be like, because he has Parkinson's.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite jokes.
Oh my God. I actually never laugh at jokes like, what the hell? Okay, that was good.
Or this one's a little more fucked up, but it's like they're called anti-jokes. So this one's more fucked up, but it's not really offensive. But what's worse than finding a worm in your apple?
I feel like, I don't know. What is it?
The Holocaust.
Okay, I used to make jokes like that. Those are the jokes that I used to like.
Because it's like, yes, that is true. That was way worse than my
It's like you expect it to have a punchline, but it's like those are such like mid 2000s jokes actually.
I
like,
love it.
Like that's how my friends all used to joke like that.
I love really like subtle, dry humor, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the Holocaust is worse than a worm in an apple.
Exactly. So I'm not saying anything offensive
at all. Literally, I was like trying to think of how it could be offensive. It's literally not. It's
not. I'm never offensive ever.
And even if you are, who cares? Okay, listen. You can be as offensive as you want, as long as you aren't hurting people of color, different races, different genders, different gender identities, all that. Offend people with blonde hair all you want. Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
Not that you were doing that right now, but
I'll probably be mean to everybody equally, but
only
if you come at me first, and I'll shame you. But not like
you're like me. I go hard. Hard.
I'm not gonna come at you for like your fucking identity, but if you say something stupid, I'm gonna go after that. If you say some dumbass shit, I'm gonna tell you you're being a dumbass. Yeah,
I need to just kind of watch the way I get mad, because I get mad and I like say things that I shouldn't, and then I ruin everything. I need to not.
You're feisty.
And I'm not talking about things that are inappropriate, but things that are inappropriate to the specific person. Like I need to not.
Yeah, you go for the low blows.
Yeah. Hard. Like
I used to be like that, but then I was like,
how'd you stop? You just grew up?
Daddy, chill. I don't know. I just like, because like I had to take a step back and just be like, I need to maybe not say that, because I can't always just be like, oh, I was just mad, because not everyone understands that.
Yeah.
Some people actually get upset, or too sensitive.
I think you and I, if we ever went to low blows, we'd be like, whatever, the next day. Like, not that I don't even see that happening though. Honestly, I can't see that happening.
I just have more patience for stuff. So I feel like if you were ever mad at me and started getting all crazy, I'd be like,
yeah,
keep it coming. I'd be like just a wall and you'd be like yelling at me.
You
or
know how to
something.
make me the most mad. I can't believe I'm going to give you advice on how to make me mad if we are ever fighting. Just literally be like, okay, okay, okay. I
See,
will fucking.
that's why it would be funny though, because you say the low blows to get a reaction, and I would not
And
give
then
you
the
that
fact that you're
reaction,
not
and you'd get
reacting would
more
hurt.
mad.
I'd be like, fuck, I said that and she's not even reacting. I need to take it back.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. It's
this
funny
became
because
a
like,
hangout. Is this a
wait,
podcast or a hangout?
it's both. I think people will really enjoy this. I feel like they will. I mean, I feel like if we're just us hanging out,
Yeah.
people hang out with us. I want
Well,
them
and
to.
that's what
Hey, we
people.
should have like one of like the viewers as a guest one day, even. I'd be down for
Eventually,
that.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't really like. Okay, so I'm
Outsiders.
totally down to interact with fans. I'm like, because I think a lot of fans can be friends and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
also there's crazy people.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like eventually we'd screen the
Yeah.
fans and be like, which one would we actually get on? Which one's gonna troll us and be like, fuck you both. I only came here to say that. Goodbye. Click.
I would love to have Melissa Marie on. I think that'd be really
I think
cool.
we could get her on.
I think
I
we
used to
should
be
get her
friends with
on.
her.
And I did ask Corey Patakos a while ago for you guys for your podcast.
You could come on this one.
But yeah, I'll have him come on this one because like
Yeah.
we're
He could come
literally
on
the same
both. Like
age.
if Jess is listening, she knows he could come on both. But
Dude, I
I
could
feel
make
like
like
it
a
would be
mini
cool.
entrance trailer of him pulling up in one of his like Lamborghinis.
My God.
He's
He's
got like
still
a
the
million
same
features there.
person.
I
He's
never
still the
really
same
knew him that
person.
well, like back
No,
then.
not personality wise. I just feel like he's Mr. Lambo, Mr. Sexy Man Lambo, Mr. Sexy Man. I
I
don't know.
mean,
He's just got good style. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, he takes care of himself.
It's crazy because like I'm gonna say this. I know I'm not a hot guy. Like I know that, and I'm fine with it because I like being fun. I'm fun, and I know that. Okay, so I'm gonna say there was a post once of a picture side by side of me and him
Oh, were
on
people
Sticky
mean?
Drama. No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
I thought you were gonna
Oh
be
my
like it was like
God.
a hot
I
or
would
not or
expect that.
something.
No, no, no. I would expect like when I first saw it, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what's about to happen here? And everyone was like, look, Eden's trying to copy Corey Patakos, or look, are they twins? And then in the comment, it would be
Oh
like,
my
ha ha ha,
God.
they don't have their own personality. They're the same person. Want to know why? Because it was a picture of me with my long black hair doing this with no shirt on. And
Mm-hmm.
he had the same exact picture.
I know exactly. Do you remember the Die Hawk?
That's the picture.
Yeah, Die Hawk, and it like was on his stomach.
That's
Dude,
what
that
was.
was so iconic drama back then.
Oh my God. And so I took a picture like
Yeah.
with no shirt on, and people put it side by side thinking I copied him. I did not. And they're like, they look alike. They have, he has no sense of style. He
Because
copied
he's
his
the
style.
first one to ever take a picture flipping off a camera with his shirt off.
First of all, he was doing this.
Dude, Famous Stars and Strap Bros did that too.
Let me just say something. If anyone could pull this picture up, because I know it's still online. I saw it recently. I was pointing my middle finger up. He wasn't. And I photoshopped my middle finger out of it because I'd rather myself look like I'm doing the thingy.
Like you're
And
punching.
because my mom was added to me on MySpace. And I feel like back then I was like scared if they saw me like cuss and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my grandma had me added on MySpace and my uncle and everything. And my uncle's my age. But he would like tell my mom everything. So I photoshopped my middle finger out of it, and to make
That's
it look
hilarious.
thinner, I guess I wanted that whole look, and I had abs because I was skinny. And so they just put that side to side, and it bothered me a lot because to this day I'm like, I didn't do that for that. I did that because I was feeling myself and my shirt was off, and I was like, time to take a new MySpace picture because I dyed
And
my
even
hair
if
black.
you were copying him, who the fuck cares? We all looked the same.
I know. Who cares, honestly? But I just have this thing where if someone like says something that isn't true and I know it's not true, it bothers me to the core because I want them to know that they're wrong. I get
Yeah, I
crazy
feel
about that
you.
stuff. I don't know. I'm weird.
I used to really be like that. Sometimes I definitely am, but now I'm like, whatever.
You're so nonchalant. Lucky.
I know it's taken a long time. Like,
Did you
don't
have
get me
to
wrong.
force
Like,
yourself to be?
if anyone like comes like out of the woodworks, tries to cancel me, it's because I used to be psycho.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't even psycho in like the actual psycho way, like, but I would just, like I was
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I was
I think a lot of my
bothered
old tweets are
more.
not good. And you guys are
Yeah.
gonna find a lot of old tweets that are bad, but they're never racist. And that's one thing I can say.
Exactly. I can say I
Mhm.
was never racist. I
Mhm.
was never a predator.
I may have sang along to the N-word before in my life. And I've said this on my old podcast with my two
Mhm.
friends who happen to be black. They asked me, and it was a girl from Bad Girls Club, Liv Adams, and this
Mhm.
other girl, Amber. We had a podcast together, which was actually popping for a little bit, and then it stopped. It was called The Says. And they asked me, have you ever said the N-word? Tell us the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, without the hard R, like I'm not going around calling people that, but when I'm saying along to lyrics and stuff, I've said it. Do I think it's right? No. How old was
Yeah.
I? Like 15, maybe 19. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's back then, you don't think of those things and you aren't as educated on that subject. And you don't even, I would say it in front of my friends who are black. Like, that's how it would
Mhm.
be. And I don't think that was right at all, by the way. But it's like, I'll admit it. I used to, it's the just like we were talking about before, like the culture back then was different. And yes, there were people that said things that they shouldn't say like that. But
Yeah.
for some reason it was like it wasn't called out as much, which in turn made the perpetrator feel like they're not hurting anyone and just feel like they're being edgy or like again singing along to a song. So I'll admit I pulled that whole Trisha Paytas thing because she's done that. And I see that people are trying to cancel her for that, but
Mhm.
it hasn't worked really because she's owned up to it. I mean, how do you feel about that, honestly?
About Trisha or just the
No,
topic?
about in general, like people rapping along to lyrics in the past and being canceled for it today when clearly if they make it clear that they didn't mean any harm from it,
Yeah, I mean, it's all about like actions
they were
speak louder
stupid.
than words. And again, context. Like the
Yeah.
people who are digging, first off, you're going out of your way to look for old tweets. So you're literally going out of your way to find anything that they could have possibly said that was bad. Okay. Do they still talk like that? Are they apologizing for saying
Those are the
stuff?
things they should look
You
for.
know,
Yeah.
that's what you need to look for. Like
Yeah.
if it's one thing if it's a tweet from 2018, like okay, well, as a society, we all kind of like consciously said by then, like we shouldn't post things like that.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's from like, 2009, like it's different. And it again, context as to what you say.
Yeah.
Did you make an off-color joke? Or did you actually say something straight up racist, like I hate black people or something,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
totally
And
different than saying like, I don't know, I can't think of anything
yeah,
offhand,
it's I
but
mean
if
like
you're
there's
like
nothing to even like compare it
copy
to
and
really, but
pasting
it's just like
lyrics or something, you know what I mean?
exactly. Oh my God, that's okay. Very good point. It's like when you're and I'm not like gonna speak for black people at all because yeah, if you don't like it, if you don't want people singing along to it, no one should say it. I get that.
Mhm.
But it is basically back then, that's the way I felt when I was rapping along to lyrics that had an N word in it. It would kind of be
Yeah.
like copy. I felt like I was just copying and pasting what the lyrics were. Nowadays, I would never think twice before doing that. Like, I would not do that nowadays. I think I'm mature as I've aged, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I look back at it and I realize it's been like half my life since I was 15. So that's crazy. Um, but
I
yeah,
think
I
for
mean,
me, like I didn't really sing along to the N word. I just always felt awkward saying it my whole life. But the F
I
slur,
thought I was, yeah.
like for like FAG, like that would be
Oh,
the one that I think I sang more because literally Mindless Self-Indulgence is one of my like still favorite bands. They literally have a song called the F slur. And like the
I
part of
wouldn't
the
care if you said
chorus
it to
is like
me.
it's like F word, F word, F word, F word. It's like you just
I
sing
I
it.
know that like a lot of gay people agree with this. They and I will speak for a lot of gay people, not all of them, but a lot of them. They don't mind when their friends say it at all.
I mean,
I
I'm
know there are
bi,
that
but does
do
that count?
gay guys
Yeah,
because
I
I don't
know.
know if you call it.
You
Can you
don't
call a
call
girl the
women
F
that
slur?
technically.
Okay, okay, yeah. So I never gave a shit.
But
Like
we fight the
when
gender norms and we call all gay people the F word.
okay, we could. I mean, I've seen
We
girls call
fight the
themselves
gender
that.
norm.
You can call yourself that. I've seen it happen. Like I've seen people say
Yeah.
it on TikTok. Like I'm a, but and also the robo F slur. That whole trend.
Yeah, dude. Okay. I've
You're allowed to
seen
say that,
that
like,
one. I've seen
yeah,
that one. And it's like,
yeah.
okay, again, context, because you see that sound, you're like, oh, haha, that's funny, whatever. But then, like, if
Then some
someone
people
was
are
to
actually being
say it
mean.
or whatever, then other people would get, like, I don't know, canceled or something. It's just,
Yeah, I feel like it's two notches below the N word in a sense where it's like the gay people could say it and the straights shouldn't say it, but there are still lyrics that have that word in it that everyone will I guess participate in, not always sing along, but just like what we were talking about. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, that TikTok trend that was like, you are now rocking with Robo F slur and I know what is it? Mega F slur. I
wait,
keep doing this because it's the
yeah,
English.
what,
Mega F slur and Robo bitch. You are
yeah,
now rocking with Mega F slur Robo bitch.
yeah,
Like it's funny. And when I saw it, I was like, and I don't ever get like shocked from things like that, but it was just took me by surprise because it's like on TikTok and people are
yeah,
saying
and
that. I'm
TikTok
like,
is
you can't
very
say
like,
that.
you
But
can't
you
do this,
could.
you can't do that kind of
But
culture, like very PC, which is fine. I'm okay
but they're
with it.
tricky about it because sometimes they do slip in their little
Yeah, it's like
anti-body positivity or
hypocrisy. Oh,
racism. Yeah.
speaking of hypocrisy and performative activism, I had to fucking call somebody out. I try not to like argue with people or even respond to negative comments because I just don't care. But I had this video I posted a couple days ago. I don't know if you saw it, but it was recreating a scene outfit using only items from Amazon.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so
I'm a
one of my
major supporter of
followers,
yours.
thank you. One of my followers specifically asked for that. And you know why? Because Amazon is convenient. It is available everywhere. And a lot of times it has cheap options. And especially when my followers are either in their teens or in their 20s, not everyone has money, time, resources to actually find secondhand clothing stores or small businesses. Like they have access to Amazon.
Yeah.
So
I use
this,
Amazon more than anything else.
this person comments like, or we could not promote Amazon.
Why?
And yeah. And I was like, well, if you can read, I was responding to my followers' request. Like it wasn't just coming from me. And she's like, yeah, but you really shouldn't be promoting them. It's still bad or whatever.
Why?
And
I'm
I'm just
confused.
like,
What happened?
I'm like, are you typing this from an iPhone? Come back when your hypocritical performative activism is in check. Because you're not going to sit here and shame people for where they buy their products from in a
Wait,
capitalist
what happened
country.
with Amazon?
Everyone doesn't like Amazon because
Oh, because
they're
it's
fast fashion and they're just a horrible company and they're a big corporation and Jeff Bezos is evil, which I agree with all these things.
okay, but they do realize, and you do realize that a lot of people on Amazon are third party. Yes, they
There's
give a
third
portion.
party sellers
Yeah.
and also like
A lot of
okay,
people have their business through Amazon. My cousin sells jewelry through Amazon. So
yeah, like what do you expect everyone to do? First, the big evil was Walmart. I don't know if you remember, back in the 2000s, Walmart was taking over.
mhm.
It was basically
Do they
monopolizing a
sell
lot of
walls
areas.
there?
Yeah, they sell walls at Walmart. But they would, take over like especially like these small towns and they would like obliterate all the small mom and pop shops in these areas and Walmart was
Yeah.
the big evil back then. And guess what? Walmart is struggling to compete with Amazon now. There's always going to be something new.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are acting
There's gonna
like,
be something better than Amazon soon where you can literally
yeah,
like get something the same day, or I mean you still can
or there's
today,
going to
but
be the chip in your brain and you think of something that's in your
the
hand.
vaccine chip, you think
Yeah, the
Pfizer,
vaccine chip.
Moderna.
It's
I'm
really
so
just
ready to be
Amazon.
microchipped. Do people realize that we are already microchipped? Can they relax?
Exactly. See, this
They
is
can
the thing that
relax.
drives me nuts is like the
They can
hypocrisy
relax.
of people on the internet.
It's people that think that they're thinkers, but they're not thinking deep enough. Like they're only repeating what they're hearing. And you need to use your
Yeah.
brain to individually research all these
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call it. Like don't
And you know what I love about Amazon, especially for videos, is that
what?
I can buy something, use it in a video, and return it really easily.
You know what I like about Amazon? So I bought my nephew something from Amazon. It was the wrong size.
Mm-hmm.
I returned it, but they said don't send it back. We'll just send you a new one. And they
Yeah.
do that often. That's pretty cool. I like that about them.
I'm sorry, but Amazon is the most convenient evil there is out there. And
There we
I
go.
mean, they were keeping the fucking economy going during COVID. So that says that it's actually a really important part of our
They
infrastructure now.
care. There's a lot of big businesses that capitalize that actually care. And you like imagine a mom and pop shop becoming a corporation. They're not well, of course they'll get some greeds will get in the way, obviously.
Yeah.
But the heart is still there, the concept is still there, and the mom and pop are still there. They're still making the money. Now they're just succeeding. Do you get mad when people succeed? I get the point though. I get what you're saying and I get your point of view. I get everyone else's point of view.
Yeah.
But
I
it's like
understand it.
shops
But
grow like corporations. I mean, shops become corporations, and that's just what people actually go for a lot of the time.
also,
The
when it
goal.
comes down to it, and I've heard this a lot, so I'm not going to act like this is my own original thought, but it's so true, and that there is no such thing as ethical spending in a capitalist country. There just isn't. Anywhere you want
Mhm.
to spend your money, someone else has suffered because of it. I mean,
Yeah.
to the store and you want to buy produce, well, someone's out in the field picking that for probably not as much money as they should be paid.
Where do you think mom and pop shops get their inventory? Like
Yeah, it's like,
like
especially with clothing,
corporations.
the only ethical choice that you can make as far as clothing's concerned is to just be naked, because
It's not too
you
ethical.
can't wear anything that didn't come from like China somehow or a third world country,
Mhm.
because it goes down to the plants that are in your threads, to the plastic that's polluting the
You have to
environment.
dress basic as fuck, and you'll still end up having something that isn't made in America,
Yeah.
like this
So,
American flag belt.
yeah, is your outfit, did it come from a thrift store or is it brand new? Because if you didn't get it from a thrift store, then you suck.
These jeans are from Israel, which I get it. People are gonna be like, "Oh my God, free Palestine." I'm don't hate a country
We're
for
not
their government.
bringing the
Okay?
Israeli Palestinian
I know,
conflict
but
here.
every time I mention that I'm Israeli, comments flood saying free Palestine if the video is big enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that right now. I'm Israeli. I love Palestine. Free both. Like whatever. Fuck it. Like I Palestine, I love
So
you. I
all
hate the
those
government of
people who
Israel.
want
There
to
we go.
have a say in that, um, if you're in America,
You're Donald Trump automatically.
you can shut the fuck up, because A, you're dumb, and B, I'm Native American, so get out of my country.
That I always want to be like, do you realize that no one's hating on you for being American because of what your people or ancestors have done or
Yeah.
whatever? You get it. It's like it's the same concept. It
Well,
just gets irritating.
technically, the Middle East does hate us for that, but
The Middle East hates
I
who
can't
for
really
what?
blame them because America is trash.
Wait, they hate who for what?
Well, not everyone in the
The
Middle East,
colonization?
but there's a lot of, obviously there's a large following in the Middle East that doesn't like America because
Oh yeah, I
we're
know that.
stupid.
I know that. Israel loves America though.
Yeah, we help them.
But there are a lot of sayings that are in Hebrew and in Arabic that are
We supply their
anti-American
weapons.
sayings.
So
Yeah, I know that. That's why I'm always like, oh God, like they were
dude,
just
I love
I'm
this podcast tangent. We're getting all political here.
I'm okay.
Educated.
I'm gonna cut the shit. I'm not gonna talk about Israel anymore. I'm just gonna say I am not for the government. I am just my own person and I am Israeli. And that's
Yeah.
it. Don't invalidate that at all. And my ancestors aren't the Europeans that colonized the place. My ancestors are Palestinian and Syrian. I still
Mine
like
are Serbian and Native American, and then some other shit from Europe.
I
So
love that you're Native American because you look Native American.
see, the funny thing is too, like I made a couple TikToks about being Chickasaw, 'cause I'm Chickasaw, and my hair was blonde at the time. So they're like, oh, look at this stupid white girl and stuff. And I'm like, no, like you can tell now, especially with like my hair being dark,
I could see it
the
100%.
cheekbone, like where do you think this jawline comes from? Where do you think these cheekbones? I had filler put in my nose, but I have like
Wait,
the
how?
upper
For
jaw.
what? Because I need to do something. Okay, my friend Jordan always sends me nose filler before
Yeah.
and afters because I don't like my nose, but I know
Yeah.
I can fix it, but I don't want
You
it to
can at
look
least
fake.
get filler and see if you like it first.
So, okay,
It
how is it
dissolves.
painful?
No, actually, my nose was the least painful like thing I've ever gotten done in my face.
I'm gonna do it. I don't like the shape. Like it's not even that it's
Here,
big. It's
do a
just that
side
it's
profile. Turn to
misshapen.
the side.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
show
not
off your
turning to the side.
schnoz.
No, I hate my side profile. That is
You're
my
fine.
that's still my teenage insecurity. Like my teenage insecurity that followed me to adulthood. I'm always like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm wearing a mask. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I
no, you
feel
don't know what I
you.
mean, but you get it. God, I'm being too open, huh?
No, you're not. You're not
Well,
open enough.
oh,
Open up the gate.
you got a lot to say. Oh.
Oh, wait. I said the wrong words. Open up the safe. Bitches got a lot to say. P word in your face. Then you put you in your place.
Keyword in your face. Pussy. It's a pussy cat. It's a cat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, we had a really good conversation today. I really liked this. I think we touched on a lot of important things. I think we really
This was
vibe.
fun. And
It
like,
was.
we're always going to try to have like, topics, but we just like to talk and
Yeah. The first episode should always be
fun.
tangenty so people can know the spectrum of the idea of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys like the name Podcast 2000? Because that's what we're called. If you don't, let us know. It's still going to be called that, but at least we'll know if you like it or not. Yeah. I don't even know. Okay, so I mean, is there anything else you feel like talking about right now, or do you think we've pretty much covered today?
No, I think we're pretty good. I would just say, definitely keep watching. We've got some cool stuff planned for the future. This is just the beginning of the road, and
this is the intro.
This is just, we're just like scraping the surface.
Just wait till we talk about sidekicks, till we talk about MySpace hacks. No, I'm kidding, but just wait. Just wait though, honestly.
It's gonna be good.
I think
times.
we should have a little segment where we just like kind of like share MySpace HTML codes with each other that we remember.
I don't remember shit. I can tell you right now.
I remember Marquee. It's because Space Hey. I have Space Hey, so I started using HTML again. But like very slightly.
I got I had Friend Project and then I abandoned it because I don't.
They emailed me and deleted my account because I wasn't on it for long enough. Yeah, if you go inactive. I got it like around that time where everyone's like getting Space Hey. I was like, I need all of these sites, but then if you're inactive for 2 months, they delete your account and they let you know like ahead of time too. And I kept being like, I need to sign in because they kept emailing me.
Sucks.
Whatever though, like I only made it like a few months ago.
I mean, it's not like you had like a following on there. Or whatever.
Literally, I was like, whatever. But you know what? I had a friend project that had my entire MySpace layout on it, and it got deleted. And I that's so sad. Like that's where I saved my stuff.
I know. I wish I had my MySpace like even remotely still, but I deleted it in 2010. It's been off the internet for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, MySpace in general has been off the internet, which sucks. I feel like, hey, if you guys are listening, if you had a MySpace layout that was pretty interesting, send it into us, like send it to one of our Instagrams or to one of our TikToks, and we might just feature it on the next episode, just so we can see the cool aesthetics and the talent that you had. The what?
And roast you.
Yeah, we could also just roast it. If we don't like it and you think that it's good, just prepare for a roast.
I think people love getting roasted.
A lot of people do. I'm not one of those people, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
For pain.
Those are masochists. Those are people that are very what's that word? Kinky.
BDSM?
Yeah. I feel like people that like being roasted are also into BDSM.
Hell yeah, they do.
Yeah. Hell yeah, they are.
They're a glutton for pain.
Never really been into that because I'm not pain tolerant.
Oh, I am. But I'm not really into that.
I feel like
I'm pain tolerant.
No. I feel like you'd be into that. Like
no.
Sure. Yep.
Everyone thinks I'm like some crazy freak. Like
you seem
I'm not
like
really.
I feel like, come on.
I mean, I like to have sex, but I don't get too crazy. It's like the most
is the new BDSM.
Yeah, I think I was definitely like more crazy when I was younger because like Dude, that's a whole topic for another day. But like basically,
Yeah.
like as a girl, you're kind of taught you have to perform during sex. You can't just like enjoy it. So you have to like put on like a show basically.
I know
And
what you mean.
yeah, and like I think that's for a lot of teenagers in general too. Like when you're first starting to like have sex, you're not really like you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
But they expect the girls to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like that.
So a lot of
I-
that stuff I would do and like whatever. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I do what I need to do for me and I'll be there for the
Yeah.
ride.
I think in the next episode we can kind of like get into not too much detail, but just detail on how we went about things in our own personal manner, in our own personal lives, and maybe sprout out into tangents from there. I feel like that would be really fun. I think the audience would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the podcast. It's our first episode. Again, it's always going to be messy on the first episode because we just came on here, clicked record, and went for it. We're a weekly thing, right?
Yeah. Weekly.
Yeah. So tune in every week.
We'll post our schedule once we have it figured out.
See, I was trying to get there and trying to make it seem like I already know. We don't have a schedule, but it's going to be every week. I have a feeling it'll be on a specific day every week.
I feel like it should be like
Wednesdays?
Wasty Wednesday or something.
Hey, were you actually thinking Wednesday? Because I was thinking Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesday is my favorite day of the week.
Okay. Hump day.
I feel like Wednesday has such a good like vibe.
Wednesday is like okay,
it's
well
just
Thursday.
Nice. Everyone has a good day on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday is good because all the TV shows premiere on Thursdays, or at least the ones in NBC. So I feel like Wednesdays people won't have excuses to be distracted. So yeah, Wednesdays.
People watch
Tune
NBC.
What? No, I
watch TV and NBC.
I was working on a TV show called This Is Us, which is an NBC show, and I worked on the Paramount lot. So a lot of the shows on Paramount, including Dr. Phil, who I had seen in his tram. Yeah. That's the first stage you get to when you get into the lot. The Dr. Phil show. But anyway, tangent. Every show over there is either released Tuesdays or Thursdays, and also pilot season. And I think this is a nationwide thing. Is July, which is when people like pilots are being filmed, and then it's always until like March or whatever. In case people are wondering, one episode of This Is Us takes about 1 to 2 weeks to film, and every scene is about a few hours long, and it's insane. And the days are like 16-hour shifts. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, too much for me to like even.
How long have we even been going?
I have no idea. I didn't even time this. I just feel like it.
I was like, we were just going.
I feel like it's been. Let's guess, and we'll see in the end. I say it's been 57 minutes.
Okay.
No, it's probably been more.
I don't know.
What do you say? What do you think it is?
I think like an hour 15, maybe.
Oh shit! Okay.
I think it's been longer.
Okay, I don't have perception of time, and I think. Well,
clearly.
I'm really bad. Okay.
Yeah, you're horrible.
Well, now that you say that, okay, fine. It's been an hour and 11 minutes.
Oh, you don't Price is Right me.
You literally knew what I was doing. I just want to be right. Okay. You guys tune in every Wednesday. We promise there's going to be so much to cover. You guys will enjoy it. If you have any ideas, leave a comment, and peace.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.